Welcome to another episode of Hoosier Nerds Podcast with your hosts, Mikey and the Two Curses. It was Tim's birthday this weekend, and he went out with some friends. Don't blame him. Happy birthday to Tim.
I thought we
I
were
feel
going to
bad. I
focus
feel
on.
like a bad friend because I don't remember how old he is. I think he's like turned 28, like me. I don't know. He's old. He's
Happy
old.
birthday, Tim.
Happy birthday, Tim.
So we delayed our recording. We're recording at night tonight, and I'm kind of happy we did, guys, because the WandaVision trailer dropped, and it actually looks really good. I can't tell if they're going like back in time or like they're sharing like some sort of dream, but they're like in the 50s.
It
looks-
almost, yeah, it almost kind of looked like uh, that. Oh, it was. I want to say Tom Hanks. That Tom is no, it's not Tom Hanks. Jim Carrey movie where he's
Oh
all alone, and it's like they built that city
yeah,
for him, and they're
The
just
Truman
recording
Show?
him.
yeah,
Yeah,
Truman Show.
yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
So they're like in some sort of simulate or not simulation, but like a construct or something.
Yeah, but it looked kind of like a dream though too. So yeah, it's kind of hard to determine, I guess, but it looked fresh and new, a new take on that superheroes. I don't know, and then you don't know like really why are they there, why aren't they out in the world helping?
hmm I wonder if this is like in between what was it, Infinity War and Civil War,
Yeah, that's what I would think.
kind of like what we'll talk about next. What were your thoughts, Chris?
I like it. Looks good. I'm impressed. I'm anxious to see where it goes.
Did they
Oh.
give us a release date?
No, it just said coming soon, I believe. Is what it said.
Only on Disney Plus.
December 2020.
Oh, that's
So
not-
another reason to get Disney Plus besides season 2 of Mandalorian.
All right. Well, I mean, it was just a fresh
It-
trailer.
it- Yeah, it just dropped. I mean, it's not. There wasn't a lot there. The only thing that intrigued me was that, like she says, you already died or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that?
I mean, could it be like he was dreaming this when he was dying?
Well, yeah, that's what I was wondering. The same thing. So I'm kind of anxious to see how that plays out. So, but it's piqued my interest, and there's, you know me with the whole raised by wolves thing. It takes a lot to pique my interest to watch the show, but
Oh,
this looks really good. I'm actually pretty excited about this one.
hopefully, it doesn't fail your expectations like Raised by Wolves did.
Hey, that had 4 episodes to do it in, or 3 episodes to do it in.
And I love it so far. But that's getting away from what we're going to. So.
Yes.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about Black Widow because I saw a trailer for it again today, and it reminded me of a joke we forgot to tell last week. So I don't know. Black Widow does not interest me as a movie. Like, I know it takes place after Civil War and like what she's doing between Civil War and Infinity War. But the story that I've gotten from the trailers is just like, okay, and
Well,
You got-
she's essentially a side character to the Avengers, and I know they're trying to cover all the Avengers, but can every? It's like, to me, it's like the whole. It was like Aquaman. I watched Aquaman when it came out on demand or whatever. I didn't see it at the movies, but it just didn't interest me. It's not a strong enough character, in my opinion, to have its own movie. And I feel the same way about Black Widow. It's just not. That character doesn't seem like a leading movie character to me.
I mean, I looked interesting, I guess, to me at least, because I mean, it almost looks like a comedy. I mean, I know
well.
Marvel puts a lot of good comedy in their movies, just a little bit here and there, just to
Right.
ease off the action and whatnot. But I mean, I think it with whoever plays the Captain America version of Russia, whatever his name is.
Soviet
Yeah.
or Captain Soviet or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I like him as an actor, so but Yeah.
That's who? There you've got. It's got Scarlett Johansson, of course. Florence Pugh's in it. Robert Downey Jr., of course. And you got David Harbour, who's
Yeah,
Red
David
Dead.
Harbour. That's who.
And that's
Yeah.
the one, that's the
Yeah.
one I said. He looks like a fat guy dressed as Captain America as a Comic Con
Yeah.
in that outfit. But it's true. I mean, and nothing. I love David Harbour. He's spectacular in Stranger Things, and he's a great actor. But I just don't. It's just
And
like
her
I,
past was always like mysterious, I guess, and that's why I think a lot of people might be interested in this.
if I was at somebody's house and it came on TV and like we started watching it, that's probably when I would watch it.
I'm probably gonna see it. I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I will go see it eventually, whenever it comes out. I know there's a release date, but
November 6th
there
is
you
the
go.
release date. So
It'd probably make a big splash if it came out during the Cold War. No, people would be probably interested in it. Like, what's Russia up to now?
well, it says, yeah, it's between Civil War and Infinity War. Black Widow Natasha Romanova.
Romanov.
It says, I don't know. It's given to the KGB, which grooms her to become its ultimate operative. When the USSR breaks up, the government tries to kill her as the action moves to present day New York, where she is a freelance operative. That's per IMDb.
Oh, so it's actually gonna take place a little bit during the breakup.
Right. Well, yeah. Probably closer towards, yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
I mean, like I said, I'm gonna go see it, but I'm not. It wasn't a movie I really asked for, lack of a better word.
Yeah, I'm more partial towards that asteroid movie that we saw the trailers to before I go see that one.
Oh, what's that called? Iceland. That movie looks good. Like
Yeah, that does. Yeah,
good old fashioned disaster movie.
I thought it was Greenland.
yeah,
Is it
Greenland. It is
Okay.
Greenland.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some land.
Yeah, people get them confused all the time. Don't worry.
I know. Even the Vikings did. So
So you were at the movies. Do we want to go this way? Seg it in or?
Yeah.
yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, I was at the movie with my dad. He wanted to go see Tenet, so I took him to see Tenet. And also, Mikey, you went and saw Tenet on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, last week after the podcast.
What were your thoughts? Since I already kind of said mine.
I think the whole movie I was trying to figure out how such things could happen, and I don't think it did. It kind of did, like towards the beginning with the lady that the doctor, I guess, she kind of explains it a little bit, and it kind of made sense. But then later on, when they're starting to go through the little, I guess you can almost say it's a portal, but it's not really a portal.
The turnstile.
Yeah, the turnstile. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, when they were going through the turnstile, it was really confusing. I had no idea like what to make of it. But the action was good, and all the choreography to go with that. I don't know. Special effects were decent enough for, but I didn't mind it. It just
You got lost.
yeah, I did get lost. And I didn't understand it until I was listening to a podcast where they kind of explained it a little bit more, but where it's like it's the particles is that formula algorithm or whatnot is to create particles that go in reverse or something. I don't know, something like that. That's my thoughts.
Going back and watching it a second time, I think poked more holes in the plot than the first time. Because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go the second time and try and figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
God, I should not have gone again.
So you wouldn't watch it again?
No, I'm definitely gonna buy it when it comes out because I did enjoy the movie. But I don't know. Do we want? I can't really say anything about some spoilers.
Well, I mean, it's been out 3 weeks. Hopefully, I mean,
I'm gonna do some
nothing going on.
So
in
you know how they talk about the grandfather paradox? It's like if you kill your grandpa, then who was there to who created you?
Right.
Well, they kill the bad guy in the past, So how are they fighting him in the future? Before you know?
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And then they talk about you can't do that because the grandfather paradox. Well, you just killed him, so what do you have to worry about him putting the bomb together now to destroy to destroy the time or whatever?
Yeah, it sounds like the universe would just split apart right there, and it's like what?
I don't know. Everything
See,
I know now. This
it,
is coming from Star Trek and other, television. But everything I can think about, about temporal mechanics is it doesn't work that way. But yeah, I'm just, I got a degree in history, not a degree in temporal science or whatever.
Back to the Future explains
And
it all. I'm telling you.
no,
Yes.
and as the great, I wish Tim was here because he would quote it with me. As the great O'Brien says from Deep Space Nine, I hate temporal mechanics.
I just want a simple movie. I
Yeah.
watched The Maltese Falcon this week with Humphrey Bogart, and it's a simple movie. There's like 10 people in it, and it's about murder and betrayal and trying to get this Maltese Falcon to this guy who wants to buy it. And it's a basic movie. It's very simple. It's easy to follow. I enjoyed it. I didn't have to stress my brain out. I didn't have to turn the movie off and go, "What did I just watch?" And then I didn't have to listen to a podcast to figure out maybe what the plot might have been.
Yeah.
I'm really losing interest in the whole let's cover a shitty story with special effects and hope that everybody likes it, because that's what movies are turning into.
I want more movies that are like John Wick, with it has a good enough story, but really you just go in there, turn your brain off, and have a good time.
That's what I was talking about. I just want something
Yeah.
basic. Yeah, John Wick's a perfect example of that.
Now I do like good thinker movies, but
Oh
I
yeah,
just
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like movies that, but if I've got a if I gotta sit there and go, okay, what happened?
yeah.
And that's you're gonna lose a lot of audience for that.
I know
I,
Tenet was. Oh, go ahead, Mikey.
yeah, I just think Tenet's ahead of its time. I don't think we're close enough with technology and all this forward thinking type, or actually reverse thinking, or whatever you want to say that. I mean, it's so futuristic almost. It's hard to follow.
I'm worried. I'm pretty sure if they wanted to, they'll make a sequel because they left it with a good plot hole. Because one of the last things Robert Pattinson says is this whole operation's a temporal pincer maneuver.
Oh yeah.
So they've left it open for a sequel.
Well, I mean,
And I would hate to
let's
have the sequel to tie, to fill all these plot holes.
But I mean, they might have had that going in because this movie's been hyped for a year now.
It got
But
delayed for 6 months because of COVID.
well, that's what I'm saying. And where's this money going to come from? I mean, nobody's been going to the
They
movies.
made
The
hold on, let
theme
me look it up.
parks have the theme parks have been closed, and we know. Um, I do believe that some of that movie budget comes from theme park money, but I know they pour a lot of it. And theme parks are putting like a major hold on improvements, expansion, new rides. Like it's out instead of being out a year, they're out
Wow.
like 2 or 3 years. You can't tell me that the movie industry can't be delayed by that as well.
As of today, Tenet's budget was 200 mil. It's made 251 million as of today.
Oh,
All right,
that's
but
unexpected. That's
It,
good
but
it
too.
made it only made 36 million in the U.S.
exactly. So they've hyped it. They got to pay for advertising. Did
It
they really get that money back yet? I mean,
Huh.
it'll get a sequel. I would put money on the Tenet's going to get a sequel, and
oh,
you
it's
know what?
possible.
I'll be there day one. Well, maybe not day one, but I'll be there. All
It'll
right,
be
guys. Since we're talking about going to movies, what was it like? You got all of our first times back in a movie theater.
if
Whoever
you
wants to go first.
well, if you buy food, I mean, they make you wear a mask to come in. and you got to wear a mask in the theater unless you're eating or drinking. So you can essentially take your mask off while you're eating and drinking your snack while you're at the movie. I didn't see any different, other than we can't sit in our normal row. It feels exactly the same. Yeah, it feels exactly the same. A lot of people aren't going though. I mean, we're not. You don't see anybody at the movies really.
Chris, you and I went to that movie, the first weekend and didn't see anybody. It was like I think there's 10 people in that theater with us.
Yeah. I don't know if just nobody's going or if they're not interested or, I mean, restaurants are busy, so I don't know why the movie theater hasn't come back. Maybe there's just nothing that's kind of caught anybody's eye to go see anything.
Yeah, I think Tenet. I think once it gets to the winter and to some of the big winter releases, it'll start picking up.
Yeah, I think so. Probably around Thanksgiving.
But I really enjoyed, I liked how they had the rows separated. They had one row open, one row next row closed, open, closed, so on and so forth. I liked that because, me being as tall as I am, I get kicked in the back of the seat so much. And I'll admit it, I accidentally kick people in the back of their seat a lot. Just because, I'm 6'3", I have no freaking leg room.
Right.
Especially where everyone I like to sit in the front row where I put my feet out into the aisle. But no, everybody likes to sit up a row or two. But yeah, no one's as tall as me. But basically, I've never had my mask on the entire 2 times I've gone to the theater. Because there's no one close to me where I really had to worry about it.
That's my thinking.
I'm sitting there sipping on my Coke the entire time.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't feel any different going at all. I'll go.
I just washed my hands a lot. Like I washed them when I first got there, and then I washed them before I went to my seat, and then I washed them when I left.
I am just happy I'm able to go back to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm. I just kind of noticed maybe a problem that might occur would people complain. It would be like you can't get a refill on your. I'm sure I probably can't get a refill on popcorn, but you can't get a refill on your drink.
I don't think they're doing the popcorn thing, are they?
There's no refills at all right now, not even on soda.
Well, I mean, you could get one. I don't think they would care,
I don't know. It depends on who's watching.
I guess they're not. They've never really policed that anyway. I mean, if you watch the people. So
I've had small sodas and still get refills all the time.
Right.
I'm just glad I don't work there anymore. It just seems like such a big deal just to try to clean and sanitize and follow rules and all that junk. It just seems like extra work that you don't get paid extra for.
Have you seen the backpack we got at my job, Mikey?
Yeah.
Disinfects. They had something just like that at the movie theater, and when we left, they started spraying our seats down.
Wait. What? They do what?
So at Planet Fitness, we have this thing. It's called an electrostatic sprayer, and it sprays disinfectant, electrostatically charged disinfectant. Basically, it looks like a proton pack. I'll tell you that. And it's electrostatically charged, so all the particles get into all the deep, hard to get crevices and stuff. You let it sit for about 5 minutes, disinfected and cleaned.
See, there's this stuff where I work because I'm supposed to do that on my bus all the time. People spray. We've got a disinfectant that we spray on the seats and the door handles and stuff, and then we wipe it off. But I don't wipe it off because to me, if you're spraying it and then wiping it off, then you're just wiping it off.
If you're disinfecting stuff, you're supposed to let it sit for a couple minutes for it to.
I just let it sit and dry, and I figure it's better than wiping everything off.
You should wipe it after 5 minutes with a damp towel.
Usually driving by then. I ain't got time.
I know.
but you see what I'm saying though? Yeah, but I see what you're saying.
I had to take a little class on how to use the thing. So,
wow,
it's fun to use because it would before we got it would take to do the upper and lower body area or all the guided machines in the back of the gym. It'd take me about 30-40 minutes to clean them all. Now it takes me 10 minutes.
Don't cross the streams.
Yeah. Does that
Every-
song? Does
yeah.
that song pop in your head every time you put that
Yeah.
on? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
People always say you're ghost busting, and I need to get a little sticker
Yeah.
that called the COVID Buster.
Yeah.
All right, so
Nice.
let's go to a new Netflix series that just dropped. Was it Friday or was it Saturday? I can't remember. I think it was
I
Friday.
usually drop on Friday. You know, stuff
Friday
usually
at like
drops on
5 a.m.
Friday.
or something like that.
Yeah, because Baron stayed up all night or woke up early for it. Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. I watched first episode, tried to watch a second episode, and I can't watch it. It's not for me. I don't like the animation style. I don't like the voice acting. The story's a little meh. So many OSHA violations.
Tell us how. Why don't you tell us how you really feel, Chris? Don't hold back.
Now, it might not be my thing, but I can see the appeal for little kids.
That was my thinking. I watched the first few episodes. It's got like a Paw Patrol kind of animation. It is not something I would watch on a regular basis, but my nephew, who's 4 and likes dinosaurs, I can see where he would really like this cartoon. So if they're geared towards him, hey, that's great. And if that's what they're trying to do, if they can get a hold of, and maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to get some younger fans, and they get the fans to go back and watch the original movies, and you got the new one coming out whenever it's coming out. It's a pretty good move by the Jurassic people. But yeah, I'm not gonna watch the series. Like you said, there's plenty of OSHA violations going on there. You're letting kids run around the Jurassic Park and velociraptors coming after them. And
I mean, on that zip line,
the
they
zip
almost
line.
smacked into the head of the was it Ardentosaurus or something?
That dinosaur could easily take out one of those people on that zip line.
I mean, do you learn anything? Does it teach any lessons to kids?
Yeah, don't stray from the camp, or you will die from getting eaten by a
Oh,
dinosaur.
you can learn that
That
from Jurassic World. I mean,
dinosaurs
they
are-
have it-
Raptors have a really good sense of smell. I learned that in the first episode, but how do we actually know they had a good sense of smell?
And if you can make a whistle out of the bones. And
Yeah, but I learned that in the first Jurassic Park movie, or was it the second one or third one? I don't know. It was one of them. But there is a character in there that's adorable. It wasn't shown till I think episode 2 or 3. I only know it because of a Facebook group I'm in. It's a character named Bumpy. It's a little baby Ankylosaurus, whatever that is. But it's to sell toys, and it's the new Baby Yoda. I'll tell you that right now.
no, it's not going to be the new Baby Yoda.
maybe like a new BB-8.
There we go. I don't know. It's the new, baby dinosaur or
Oh.
baby cute creature.
Not the mama. Like that.
Yeah. Did you watch it, Mikey?
No, I didn't.
No.
So I was itching my eye.
I would say at least give the first episode a try. Because you might like it more than we do.
Yeah, you don't learn anything. It's the basic, like we was talking about earlier. Chris was saying you've got the nerd, the punk rich kid that everybody hates, and the pretty girl that's on her phone all the time, and it's very
stereo, like the Breakfast Club.
it's very stereotypical of exactly. It is like the Breakfast Club at Jurassic Park. It's exactly what it is.
Can you guys believe I've never seen that movie?
What?
Oh my God! For real?
Yeah.
Get out of town.
That's like as real as high school got.
I mean, should I just watch it for Molly Ringwald in her prime?
Everybody was in their prime.
But it was Molly Ringwald.
No, not just Molly Ringwald.
Speaking,
Anthony Michael Hall. I mean, he was his dramatic acting in that is really, really good. Actually,
the third Sheen.
Emilio,
Emilio!
the Mighty Duck Man himself. It's a great movie. It's got great lines. It's very I saw it. I wasn't even in high school yet when it came out. I maybe I was a freshman, but I related so much to that movie. It was perfect. I mean, you had the hood that he made jokes and everybody laughed at him, but nobody liked him, and there was really you weren't friends with him. And you had the jock, you had the nerd, you had the basket case quiet person, and you had the prom queen, and that's
Of all the stereotypes, just like Camp Cretaceous.
exactly. And that hits the nail on the head with all those. Nothing's changed apparently. It's just gotten meaner on social media, I guess. But, God, now we're gonna have to have a Breakfast Club episode. Apparently,
Speaking of the '80s, Mikey watched season 1. You said you watched season 1 of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Oh,
so good. It's
it
so
is
good.
so good.
I kept on hearing things like, "Oh, you guys got to watch this," and it's so good. And I was like, "Okay, I'll watch it." But I didn't have my hopes up it was going to be that good because it was a YouTube Red show,
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and I mean, I just didn't think YouTube Red had the balls to make something so
that good.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got adult humor in it too, and I just didn't like. I didn't expect it at all.
Because okay, so as a quote unquote boomer, as you all call me, I saw the Karate Kid at the movie in '84, and to have this show come back, and you've got Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence, and I mean, it was like, oh my God, this is great. And there's still that tension between them, and they still hate each other. And I saw it when it came out on YouTube Red. I of course don't have YouTube Red, so I watched it other ways on the Fire Stick or
Oh yeah.
the Chromecast or whatever.
Plenty of ways to watch it.
We binge watched it in like 2 days.
Yeah.
We couldn't stop watching it. It is so good. The whole cast is good. Even the kids in it are good.
I usually like to go to bed somewhat early. And when I say early, I mean after midnight, but before the sun rises.
Uh-huh.
But I stayed up past my bedtime, finishing season 1, and it was worth it. I would say, but
It's where he says put the hash
yeah,
brown on it, right? Is that season 1 where he talks about the hash brown?
I don't remember.
It makes a commercial. Put one of those hash browns, Cobra Kai. Instead of a
No.
hashtag, you don't know what a hashtag is.
Yeah.
Johnny
I like
Lawrence.
how he still lived in the '80s though. Like he was still he was all '80s. He still drove that Pontiac. He still listened to all the music, which I don't blame. I mean, hey.
Well, it's on cassette.
Yeah.
It's on cassette. Yeah, he drives a red Trans Am. He's very 80s. He has no, and it's just funny because Johnny Lawrence was the rich kid in high school, and he had a motorbike and he had all this stuff and all this popularity, and he came from money, and he's so technologically ignorant. But you kind of start rooting for Johnny Lawrence. I found myself rooting for Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah, I did too.
And since I've seen The Karate Kid, I've totally switched teams and said that LaRusso's the punk who started all the trouble anyway. And there's this whole thing about it from the original movie that LaRusso was really the bully and the punk, not Johnny Lawrence. Because at the beginning of the Karate Kid movie, Johnny Lawrence says, "No, ex-degenerate. I'm senior. I'm 18, and everything's going to change this year." And then he sees some guy hitting on his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend. All he wanted to do was go down there and talk to her. So what's Daniel Russo do? He butts in. Then he sucker punches him. He deserved to get his ass kicked on the beach. I'm sorry. Then when he gets his ass kicked and Mr. Miyagi's got to come and save him, what's he doing? So they're at the Halloween party, right?
Yeah.
So, all Johnny Lawrence is doing, he's just trying to roll a joint in the bathroom. Leave the kid alone. What's Daniel LaRusso do? Puts the water hose over the top of the bathroom stall, turns the water on. He started that fight. He deserves to get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So who's the bully? Is it Johnny Lawrence or is it Daniel LaRusso? It is.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
And LaRusso's a punk in this too.
I think the very cool thing about it is it's like written, produced by like some of the like two of the biggest fans of the original Karate Kid and Karate Kid 2. I mean, they got most of the original cast in there, um, and they got all these the same themes from the movie, like the Halloween costumes, the same for
Yeah. Yes.
uh, uh, Johnny Lawrence wore when he was in the movie, and he he got the same Halloween costume for his student that he teaches, and then you see some of the stuff that he I forgot names.
That guy.
Yeah, where he teaches his student the same way Mr. Miyagi teaches.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I thought it's really cool and
Well, it is
nostalgic
cool, and
almost.
I like the fact that so Johnny Lawrence realized that the way he was taught was wrong, so he's trying to teach his students differently than the way he was taught. Where
Yeah,
fighting solves everything, and it's like Mr. Miyagi says, and I still use this to this day, referring to kids who are terrible and misbehave. There's no such thing as bad student, only bad teacher. And that is more true of a quote than that. Kids don't know unless they're taught a certain way. And Johnny
yeah,
Lawrence wasn't. Johnny Lawrence was a great student. He just had a bad teacher, which
yeah.
was, John Kreese. He wasn't a very good person. So, but I can see kind of Johnny Lawrence kind of saying, maybe we shouldn't teach that way. That's kind of wrong. So he's trying to, but he fights it. So I'm so excited for season 3 on this. I've been waiting. This is one of my favorite. That's another show. If you can, granted, I'm a fan of the Karate Kid kind of canon, if you want to call it. I don't know, the movie and its sequels. So that
How
kind
many
of
sequels
helped.
are there?
There was 3 movies, and then there was the next Karate Kid, who was $1 Million Baby.
And then
Yeah, we don't talk about Jaden Smith one. No, we don't.
No,
Yeah.
no,
never happened.
What?
Never.
Yeah.
Listen, that was a giant turd laid out for everybody. Oh my God, that was awful. Yeah, that doesn't belong. Yeah, no, that never existed. But
Was
there was
I
the
gotta
Karate
say,
Kid. What?
with the Jaden Smith one, was it karate? He wasn't teaching karate though, was he?
No, it wasn't even karate.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I remembered.
God, that movie was horrible. I was like, this isn't even anything like the original. Let's just ruin a great franchise of a movie and make it completely different from
Did
anything
that
that
movie officially kill Jackie Chan's career, American career?
did it.
I don't think he's
Or
been
was
anything since then. But he is getting up there in age also.
No, that's true. But no, there were 3 Karate Kid movies with Daniel LaRusso. It was the first one. Then you had the second one. He went to Okinawa with Mr. Miyagi because Mr. Miyagi's father dies. And then there was the third one where he he started turning into like a Johnny Lawrence. Like he kicked somebody's ass in a club. It was kind of funny. But it wasn't. Karate Kid 3 was kind of weak. It wasn't that great of a movie. It's okay, but it's not as strong as the first 2. And then the next Karate Kid, who was what's her name? The $1 Million Baby chick?
Is it Hilary Swank?
Hilary Swank, yeah. She is in. I don't think that what's his name that plays Daniel LaRusso is in the next Karate Kid.
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio, yeah, he is not in the next Karate Kid. I think that's just Mr. Miyagi and $1 Million Baby. So, but go check them out. They're great movies.
All right then.
So and do definitely check out Cobra Kai.
Are both seasons on Netflix? Right
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, check them out. You will binge watch them.
Do I need to watch? Do I need to have seen at least the first
You need to see the first Karate Kid for you
Yeah.
to
Well, I
understand.
know I need to
It
watch
does
first.
draw a lot of like ties to it. Yeah.
I've never
The
seen
Get-
whole,
kinda get the background.
the whole show is tied to the first episode.
Yeah.
So
Well-
yeah, definitely watch the first movie.
All right, and then
But
you
I mean, if
wa-
you haven't seen
oh,
Karate Kid by now, then you
it's kind of my
like,
fault.
yeah.
You've seen Tenet
Yeah.
twice and never seen the second. I just don't know what's
Or the
going on.
Breakfast Club. What the
Or the
heck?
Breakfast Club.
I'm an
You
uncultured.
need a
I'm
moviecation.
uncultured.
I might
All right,
have
what?
to go over some movies, I think, Chris, so you can get caught up.
All right, Chris. What is a social dilemma?
Okay, so the Social Dilemma it's a documentary. It's a Netflix documentary, and it is about the algorithms that control your social media, how you see your social media, how the way I see my social media and the way you see your social media are two different things. And there was they have people that used to work at like Instagram and Twitter and Reddit and Pinterest and Facebook and Google, and um, that when they built it, they started building social media like when they put the like button in. They put the like button in because they wanted people to feel good. You know, they wanted people to feel the love. Oh, that's cool. I like that. What they weren't anticipating when they created the like button was anxiety and depression because their post didn't get very many likes. Or maybe I pushed a like button on something about somebody that somebody else hates, and then you get crap from it, and it causes division, and um, it causes friends to not be friends anymore. Since the divide between political parties has the division has the split has gotten so much bigger since the age of social media. People don't talk to people anymore because of it. Family members don't talk to each other because of it. All because of social media. Because early on in social media, there were no rules to social media until recently when they started calling out fake news. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this documentary talks about how there's no you can be exposed to anything. They even bring up how uh, kids in the 70s and 80s watch Saturday morning cartoons. Well, they could only show certain commercials during Saturday morning cartoons because they only want kids exposed to something else. Well, kids YouTube, they're exposed to anything because there were no rules to what you could expose a child to in advertising. So it covers the whole broad spectrum. They said that fake news is 6 times more than likely to spread on Twitter than any other platform. That's how fast a fake news story can spread. That's
Wow.
scary.
Oh yeah.
But there was they put in like a dramatic scene with like a family and how they have to deal with their kids and social media, and they don't want to eat dinner together. They're always on their phones. They don't want to pay attention to each other. And in the drama part of the documentary, this kid breaks his phone screen cracks. Well, his mom said if he can stay off his phone for a week, she will replace his screen. So he says okay. So he puts it in the kitchen. He comes down late at night. It's like the third day in, and they've got these two guys. Basically, these two guys are the algorithms saying that okay, well, how do we get this kid? How do we get these people activated? They haven't been on their Facebook page in 3 days. What do we do? So they tell the kid, they say, well, let's say that so and so is in a relationship with a guy. And the other algorithm means like, wow, that's kind of mean, but you're going to do that? Yeah, because if we tell him that they're in a relationship with another guy, he will get on his social media. Now, I firmly believe this is a legitimate, real deal because this happened to me. This tells me how scary this is. So I got divorced last year, right? Chris knows that. So I am at my local Howard County Fair with a friend of mine, and I get a push notification from Facebook that's saying that my soon-to-be ex-wife, we just put divorce papers in a week and a half before, was in a relationship with somebody. Now, I have never got in a push notice from Facebook telling me that somebody else was in a relationship with somebody. but I had not been active on social media, and I had not been inactive with her on social media. But I got a push notification saying that such and such is in a relationship with such and such. And I till I saw the documentary and then I thought back of that, I have never received a push notice from Facebook or any other platform telling me somebody's is in a relationship with somebody. But that's how they draw you back in. They want you to. The algorithms are written where they want you to check on your ex, to look at their pictures, to see what they're up to, and it is frightening. It really makes you want to like delete your social media because of how they control what you see, and they control your your outlook on things, what videos you may look at. It is so frightening. I strongly recommend everybody to watch it, and never give your kid a phone until they're like 16 or 17 years old, because it's astounding. They never realized the monster they were creating when they were creating these social media platforms. They were only looking at the good side, which is great. I mean, families have reconnected, friends have reconnected. I know I've reconnected. One of my best friends, I was out with her yesterday. She's one of my best friends from high school. We reconnected through Facebook, and we hadn't seen each other for 20 years. So there's so much good in social media, but is the bad starting to outweigh that good? And it really makes you think, how good is social media for people? So yeah, I highly recommend it. It's called what is it? The Social Dilemma. So check it out.
What platform is it on?
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
It's a Netflix documentary.
It is.
But I found it interesting when you said about like because of social media, people didn't talk to each other like after something happened, like say they maybe bullied them or something, or maybe something happened in the in real life or something, and not on social media, that maybe created a wedge between them.
Uh-huh.
I found that interesting, like, because when you said people don't talk to each other through there, well, that's what social media was like made for, was people to talk and reconnect, like you said towards the end there.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of double-edged sword almost.
It is. It is. And this is one thing they said. They said there are only two things that describe people as users, and that's social media platforms and drug addiction. That nothing more real than that. You're a gamer. You binge watch television, but you are a user. You use social media. It's not a tool. You use it. You're a user.
Yeah.
And that is so real. So
I'd like to think I'm not on social media a lot, but then I find times where my legs fall asleep when I'm sitting on the toilet. It's like, God damn. Like, how long have I been here?
I've been trying to cure myself of the social media, and I find if I went out yesterday and I was gone all day long, and I was with a friend of mine, and it was great because I wasn't stuck on my phone with the TV on in the background. I made myself want to go out and do something, But I look at my phone. We stopped for lunch, and I had all these notifications, because that's the algorithm telling you haven't been on your phone. Where are you at? That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
So,
and I know a lot of people that delete apps just so they don't have that urge to go to it. They eventually re-downloaded it, but they take a week or two off and they come back feeling better. But
I got banned off of Twitter for a week, and I felt great. But when I
wait,
got
how did you get banned on Twitter?
I forget what I did. I think I called someone. Oh, because someone was making fun of somebody that's sick or had cancer. Someone goes making fun of someone that had cancer, and then I was like, "Wow, that's horrible." And I basically said, "I hope they get it." I shouldn't have said that. That's
Oh.
really mean of me to say. But you know what? I got banned and
Well,
they didn't
don't.
get banned. So just because they got a blue check mark.
Well, of course, you don't have that blue check mark, Chris. Maybe when you get a blue check mark, you can make horrible, horrible statements to people.
Yeah,
Not
like
get
KYS,
banned.
Everyone-
man. KYS.
Everyone always is like puts a. It seems like if they have a blue check mark going into kind of what you're saying, everyone holds them to a higher standard. Like that, they're just because they got a blue check mark, they know what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, so that's the popular thing. It's and that draws. That's where that division comes from, and that's where that it gives resentment, and it gives people a they think they're more important. They can say things that they want, regardless of who it hurts.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's a perfect example right there as part of the social dilemma.
I've been really wanting to get rid of everything but Instagram, but it's been so hard to get rid of Facebook because it's connected to so much of my crap.
Well,
I'm
and
glad.
that's
I'm glad I never signed up for it. I have never had a Facebook. It just didn't appeal to me. I don't care about it.
I've got a lot of family. I have a lot of family in Florida, so my parents are on Facebook. My mom's on Facebook, so she likes to see what I'm doing, or vice versa. So, plus we use it for our platform here.
Yeah.
Trying to get word out for this. We use social media as a platform. I have now when I used to write, like I've said in the past, used to write for a website, a racing article, and I belong to all these racing fan pages on Facebook. And I'm seriously considering, because it's all negative. All of the stuff on there is negative. And I would get a bunch of negative feedback on my articles. And you get that, you take the good with the bad or whatever. But they talk about one driver. Oh, he sucks. He don't deserve this ride. Or you know what? You try and get in the car and you see how much better you can do. That's the way I feel. You can't trash other people just because you don't like them. They're there for a reason. They have the ability. I don't appreciate people that just trash talk for no reason. You have to. Their abilities there. Okay, they may be running an 18th every week, but there's something behind that. It's not because they suck and I don't buy into that narrative, and because it's so negative, and I'm trying to eliminate all that negative out. I'm going to be deleting all of myself. I'm going to be taking myself out of all those pages, and just I think I'm trying to get back to my social media to what I signed up for, which I'm going to be putting my pictures. Hey, look what I had for dinner, or I'm going to do this today, or a positive quote, and I'm just going to start focusing on. I'm changing how I use social media, because we're all guilty of, well, this guy did this, what a jerk, and I can't feed into that narrative anymore. So, I suggest everybody do the same. Really, there's too much, and there's too much hate going on, and social media, regardless if people want to believe it or not, social media is between that and the media itself. This is all the reason for all the division and hate in this country and the world. Really, we didn't have this till social media was created. Honestly,
That's the main reason why Obama won now too. But we'll see where that got us. Let's not get into politics. Let's not get into politics.
well, no, but they bring that up, but because like the guy who won in Brazil won because of his Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook was the reason he won the presidency in Brazil, and that was the power.
In college, I wrote, in my opinion, I got an A on it. A really good paper. I called it hashtag revolutions, and it was about how the Arab Spring. I know we're getting to like something that's really not nerdy here, but it was about how like the Arab Spring was started and like planned on social media. And now, so the people who don't know what the Arab Spring was, it was like 2011, 2012. I forget which. I think it was 2011. Spring of 2011. There was a ton of riots, or not riots, uprisings in North Africa and the Middle East. The Syrian civil war is like the last. Shut up, Siri. It's like the last. vestige of the Arab Spring, because that civil war started in 2011, basically,
because of social media.
and a lot of it was because of social media. They started it and planned it on social media.
Well, remember the whole Kyrie Irving thing with the flat Earth?
Yeah.
Well, he said that he believed the Earth was flat, and he
Mhm.
later came out and apologized. And he apologized to his science teachers from high school and college and stuff for not listening, apparently. And he said he fell down a rabbit hole on YouTube, and that got him in his mind. Well, hey, maybe the Earth is flat. And YouTube does that. YouTube will dictate what videos you see based off of your search of one video.
When I was working at the liquor store, I was watching just conspiracy theory videos, and all of a sudden, all my suggested videos were conspiracy theories.
Exactly.
Like, what the heck?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I watched like 2 conspiracy theory videos, and all of a sudden, all of them. And of course, I kept watching them. I'm like, huh.
Of course, because they want you to do that. And I mean, I could put a conspiracy theory together. I could put a conspiracy theory out there, and it can take off. And that's what Kyrie Irving says is I just wanted people to think. That's all. I didn't really believe it, which we all know he believed it. But I could start a conspiracy theory and put it on social media. And if I get with the right groups on Facebook, I will find people that agree with me. And next thing you know, it's all over the place. That's the danger of social media that people didn't realize when they created Facebook, when they created Twitter. They didn't realize, you know, all of what's going on now. And I mean, is it going to get worse? That's the scary thought is look how bad it is now. And social media is to blame for a lot of this. The media is to blame for a lot of this with the riots, the destruction of the cities, the hatred, the division. Is it going to get better? Or are we not there yet? So
I don't know. Let's leave it there and get back to.
watch the documentary. Think for yourself. Do your own, but watch the documentary because it's very eye-opening and educational, and I highly recommend anybody to watch it. And if your kids are on social media, you better start policing that stuff, like you check their backpacks for homework every night.
And
All
guns.
That's all I got to say about that. And guns.
All right, let's get this back around to non-controversial, minorly controversial stuff. And let's talk about. Well, I guess never mind. We're going into the console.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5.
PlayStation sucks.
Xbox sucks. No. PC
I don't
Master
know.
Race.
I don't care. It's to each their own. I don't even care.
So
I'm an Xbox guy. So
both Microsoft and Sony released, prices, release dates, and launch games and stats. So let's start with Sony. Sony, the main PlayStation 5 with a disc drive is gonna be $500.
how big's the disc drive?
No, like a disc for discs.
Oh, 4 discs.
For for storage, it's gonna have 825
That's
gigs.
Okay, that's what I meant.
And that will come out on November 12th in select countries and 19th worldwide. It'll also have a digital edition only version, which is just downloaded games. That's all it's going to have,
Worst.
which I think is a great idea because that's all I do. That's all I did in my last 2 years on my Xbox, and that's all I do on my PC. PC games don't even come out on disc anymore. It's Steam, Origin, Ubisoft, Wargaming. It's all download.
So
and that'll be $400.
Get your kid a brand new PlayStation and buy him a game, and then tell him he's got to wait 6 hours for the freaking game to download before he can even play it.
Games you can download, you can pre-download up to 12 hours before game releases. It's a pre-download, and you just start downloading it beforehand. And then
and you're going to do that on
the
Christmas Eve or whatever, or the day before.
Good internet. So then the Xbox Series X will also be $500, and it'll have 1 terabyte of memory, which is really good. Oh, they both have SSD memory instead of regular drives. But also, the Xbox Series X will have a digital edition that'll be $300. but it'll have a smaller. It'll only have 500 gigs.
That's a good move. But yeah, but can you buy like an expansion?
Yeah, you can get
memory?
expansion drives and stuff.
Yeah.
I have an
But-
expansion drive for my current Xbox One, 3 terabytes.
Jesus, for all that porn.
Hey,
Um,
I told you
So-
that
In
for a
confidence?
secret. Yeah, in
My bad.
confidence.
I'll hit the dump button if I had a dump button. At least I didn't say what type it is.
Well,
And Xbox releases worldwide on the 10th of November. So I'm going to put an F in the chat for all the GameStop employees and Walmart employees that have to deal with kids and people.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm probably going to get a PlayStation just for the exclusives. Because Xbox exclusives come to PC anyways. But I'm going to see some of the launch games. For PlayStation, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Horizon 2, Forbidden West, and Gran Turismo 7 are going to be some key launch games. And for Xbox, it'll be Halo Infinite, Sensua, Saga, Hellblade 2, whatever that is. Forza Motorsport 8, of course, there's going to be number 8. And State of Decay 3. State of Decay 2 sucked, but State of Decay 1 was really good. And 3 is looking pretty good.
So you just can't buy a video game and just put it in the console and just play.
Have you what was the last game you got? What was the last game you bought on disc?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Did you have your internet plugged in?
Of course I did. Well, it's Wi-Fi, but yeah.
Most discs now are just download codes.
I know, and it's annoying as hell. I just want to put the game in and play it. That's all I want to do. And I'm sure that's what everybody else wants to do. Now you got to sit around. I remember I got this Xbox One for Christmas when I got it for Christmas. And the person who bought it for me got me Forza for it as well. And they got it for me in digital. And I was so excited. They're like, okay, well, you got to download the game first. You got to put in this code to download the game. And I downloaded the game, and we had to frickin' leave because it was Christmas. We had to go to somebody's house for Christmas for the afternoon. So I didn't get to play the damn game till like 9 o'clock that night, and I had to work the next day, of course, and go in like 6 o'clock in the morning.
It was a download issue. It sounds like it was, a wife having to go somewhere else issue.
But the problem is, if I would have just gotten a disc and just put it in the console and just hit start, I could have played it immediately.
Well, that doesn't allow these companies like Activision to make Call of Duty 500 gigs.
It's stupid. I'm sorry.
It's all it is Space Taker, because they just want that one game on your console so they can just get your playtime all the time. But that's just a conspiracy theory, apparently. They'll both have up to 8K resolution, which I don't know why you need 8K because it's stupid expensive. 4K would be fine.
I think at that point you can't really tell a difference between
I
like 4K and 8K. Can you?
I got a 2K monitor that I play games on my PC with. And I got a 4K TV. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Now I can tell the difference between
1080,
2K and 1080, but I can't really tell the difference. All I know is, also it was either leaked or Sony announced it. Their launch game's gonna be $70 instead of the standard $60. Now I remember when this happened. I think it was going into the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era. They're like, hey, we're going to make launch games $60, and they'll go back down eventually. They never went back down, because what it is it's a test to see if people will actually keep buying them at $70.
This is like what Disney World does.
Yeah. It's probably what every company does.
They raise their price. They raise their price like $5-10. Then every other theme park in Orlando raises their price $5-10.
Yeah.
And so when 20 years ago it was $75 to go to a theme park, now it's $120 to go to a theme park, and people still keep buying it. People still keep paying it and packing the theme parks, because that's what they're going to do the same thing with these video games. People are still going to be buying them.
And that's one thing that's going to keep me. Oh, go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, does it really cost that much more to produce these games, like as to ship them out and all that junk? Does it cost that much more, or so are they making just $10 more? I mean, say it takes $40 just to make the disc and ship it and whatnot. So they're making $20 profit per game. So are they making $30 profit more, or
Okay,
does it
so
cost more? Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2, since that's the last game we talked about, cost 80 to $100 million to make.
Okay.
That's Rockstar, one of the
Okay, so
current
how
tier
much? How quick did they make that back?
Probably. Oh,
Because that game was popular. I
Yeah,
bought
first
it was a year old.
first 3 days of release, it made 725 million. First 3 days of being released.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
They don't
So
need the extra money.
They tripled
you
that
could
shit.
you could probably cut that cost in half
You
and
don't.
make profit.
Okay, so
700 million in 3 days,
let's go
and it took
to
80. That's like 100%. That's what? That's 100% profit almost. Is that right?
I don't know.
70. Well, no, it's 1,000% profit. I don't know. That's a lot
So
of money.
let's talk PUBG. Hold on.
What are we talking about?
It's a game called PUBG.
Player Unknown Battlegrounds. It's like one of the first popular battle royale games.
It's an indie game. It was an indie game. It cost $100,000 to $150,000 to make,
Okay.
and
Golly.
it released for $30. That's how much it cost. I don't know how much it might have gone up since then, but I bought it for $30. Let me look. I'll look right now on Steam and see how much it makes. But $30 to cost to get it, and then guess how much it's made by now?
Oh, well over 100 million.
You're way too low.
Oh shit! I said well over.
Oh, I thought
But
it's
yeah.
made $1 billion,
Oh gee, that was
Holy cow!
and that's just a $30 game. They can drop these AAA games. Now, granted, there is a lot of a lot more promotion goes into AAA games than indie games, but they could definitely keep it at $60. I'm okay with $60. I'm used to it now. Now,
Yeah.
I still think they could drop to $50, but $60 is okay. You cannot be jumping these prices up to $70, especially after COVID. People don't have the money for these games.
Well,
That's the one thing that's gonna keep me from buying a PlayStation is $70 games. And if Xbox does it, fuck them. I'm not buying an
they're
Xbox.
all going to do it. It's going to be this. It's like I said. It's like Disney. What should you really be charging? It costs $120 per person to get into Disney World right now. So a family of 4 is what, $500
Yeah, and that's just
basically.
to get into the park. That's
Okay,
not travel,
so
food,
parking,
lodging
if you drive, parking is probably $25.
a day.
So yeah, $25 depends on if you stay on Disney property or not. But if you're just going down there and just, I mean, let's say you're staying on like in Daytona, or you're not staying on, you just want to go to the theme park for the day. So you're dropping $500 before you even step foot in the theme park. Then you got to buy overpriced food, and you're buying souvenirs. I mean,
$200-$300 just to make a lightsaber.
Well, that's just the lightsaber. But
Holy
I mean,
cow.
but if you're, but t-shirts or hats they're $30 a piece. Plus stuffed animals. If the kids want something like a stuffed animal, maybe they want to trade the pins with the people in the park. I don't know if they do that right now or not because of COVID anyway. But I mean, that stuff adds up. And then you got the food. I mean, a Coke is $5, $4 for a Coke. So family of 4. So there's $20 right there.
Well, you
So
can go, across the street to McDonald's and get it for $1.50.
you can get a large Coke for $1.
Yeah.
At McDonald's. So, I mean, it's like they're following the lead of essentially of the theme parks. Let's see how much we can raise the price, and people are still willing to spend. Now, Disney's up until COVID, they're breaking records left and right. So is Universal, because people spend $120 just to walk through the door for that experience. So they're going to do the same thing for these video games, especially now. People are used to sitting at home, especially people like us who don't ever go anywhere except to the movie theater and to Five Guys every once in a while. They're going to spend that $70 and sit at home and play those games.
And
Now they're going to feel like they should play it more because they want to get their money's worth out of it.
we know
I can see that. Yeah.
we know video game companies and developers and console makers were not losing money because they were all showing the last quarter. They all showed record profit.
When I bought my first PlayStation, I felt bad spending $30 on Andretti Racing. That's a true
Now
story.
the last I just bought a game. It's called Crusader Kings 3. Great game, PC game. It's fun strategy game. But it was the base version was $50. Now because I loved CK2 and put almost 1,000 hours into CK2, I bought the $70 version of CK3, the special edition. Well, that's just because I loved the first one. I wanted all the special stuff. I should say the last one. I'm willing to pay extra for extra stuff like in a special edition.
Well,
Not
Forza
$70
does the
for
same
the
thing.
not
Yeah.
$70 for the base game. Then they're gonna nickel and dime you with DLC expansions and microtransactions.
Well, wasn't that the thing with Fortnite? Wasn't that the genius of Fortnite? Was the game was free?
Yeah, it was free to pay.
It was
As
free
like-
to play, but you wanted stuff. You had to buy everything. You had to buy skins. You had to buy weapons. You had to buy, right?
Yeah, I don't get the point of buying cosmetics with real money. Now, granted, I've done it. I won't lie because it was a cool looking thing. Like on Apex, Apex is free, so I felt okay spending $20 on getting some cool looking gear. Sure, but you got these kids stealing their mom. I was talking to a gym member, and her kid steals her credit card to buy stuff on
V-Bucks. Gotta get those
to get those
V-Bucks.
V-Bucks.
Okay, so my ex-wife, her daughter was really into Fortnite, and she would for Christmas she would ask for a PlayStation card, or if she did good in school, she was rewarded. She didn't want money; she wanted a PlayStation card. So I know of 3 or 4 times she got PlayStation cards for $25. So there's $100 right there. Plus, her brother it was his PlayStation, and he would have money on his account, and she would steal his money to buy stuff. So she probably spent, and I'm sure she's been spending. I bet you she spent $400 or $500 on Fortnite. That's
Sony's getting
insane.
their cut because it's on their service.
Yep. See,
I don't know. I'm happy. I'm happy the new console war.
Just give me the disc to put in the console, and I'll be happy.
Sony won the last generation. I'm pulling for Xbox this generation, even though I'm probably not going to get either.
Yeah, I played the PlayStation. I had the first PlayStation, and I loved it. I mean, the games were great, but when Xbox came out, I'm a racing fan. I love racing games, and I had played, what is it? Forza's on PlayStation, or not Forza? Yeah, Forza's on Xbox, and what's on PlayStation? They've got a
F1, not F1. They got Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo, right? Which Gran Turismo is a great game. I liked Forza more. I thought Forza was better. And then Xbox came out, or IndyCar came out with a game in 2005 that was only on the Xbox. It wasn't on the PlayStation. So I've always been partial towards the Xbox platform. I like the console. I think the controller's better. I've enjoyed the Xbox more. I've had all 3 Xbox 360, and Xbox One. So I'm an Xbox guy. Sorry.
All right, let's move on to
Sports. Let me bring up something real quick
Sports.
before we get into anything. IndyCar. The next race is in Indianapolis on the road course. It's a doubleheader. It's the Harvest Grand Prix. It's raced on Friday, October 2nd, and Saturday, October 3rd. They are allowing fans in to the track. So, Chris with a K bought, because he's trying to save money for life reasons, I bought a $25 general admission ticket so I could go to the race on Friday. So, I'm extremely happy. The downside is the infield is not open. So, the general admission seating are in the lower part of the grandstands. In a couple sections, one Oval Turn 1 and Oval Turn 4 are the only two sections where we're able to sit. But I can't complain too much because at least I'm going to be at a racetrack. So if you want to go to the Harvest Grand Prix, go to IndianapolisMotorspeedway.com and try and get tickets for one, both, or every single day that there's racing going on the first weekend in October. Okay, so we can continue on. So unless y'all got questions.
No. All right, Mikey.
Good.
Talk about the Cubs and their losing streak.
They've only. When I wrote this down in my notes, they were on a 4-game win streak and then a 5-game win streak, and then they just lost 2. So their past 7 games, 5-2. That's pretty good. They're currently the 2nd seed in the National League. Pretty good.
Padres clinched, I saw. Playoff spot.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, they clinched. Yeah, Padres clinched.
Cool. I know there's less than 10 games out of the 60 games. Were they at 53 or so? Yeah, they played 53, so they got 7 games left. I doubt they'll be able to reach number 1 seed, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah.
They're 7 games behind the best record.
Yeah.
Dodgers are 38-16, and then
That's gonna be a tough team.
San Diego's 34-20. So they're in the same division. They're in the West. So the Dodgers and the Padres have already clinched a playoff spot. So if the Cubs have, well, they're 3.5. They're 3.5 up. They've got to win the division to get in the playoffs, I bet.
No, I mean St. Louis and Cincinnati, and Cincinnati.
Cincinnati?
Cincinnati. Yeah, they're in a wild card slot too.
Yeah, I mean Atlanta's only got 31. That's a tight race because you've got Atlanta's 131, Miami is 28, Philadelphia's at 27. That's in the East. Then in the Central Division, you got the Cubs at 31. St. Louis is 3.5 back. They're at 126. Cincinnati is 27-27. They're 4.5 back. Why are they? Oh, okay. And then Milwaukee, because what? They had COVID issues. They're 26-26. They're 4.5 back. So, plus San Francisco is 26-26. That whole race is tight for the wild card spots.
But I think Chris pointed this out, and I didn't even know they're going to do a bubble postseason too, just like NBA.
They're going to do a bubble in Texas and a bubble in California.
Yeah,
I forget where.
It's like
Arlington.
It's like hockey did.
Yeah, they're gonna do the NLDS, the divisional series. It's gonna be in Arlington and Houston, and then the NLCS, the conference series. I think that's what it is gonna be in Arlington, and then for the American League, it's gonna be held in San Diego and Los Angeles, and then the ALCS is gonna be in San Diego, and then the World Series is gonna be held in Arlington.
Have they said anything about fans or?
I have not.
They probably won't do fans.
No, if it's a bubble, they won't do fans. That was
Yeah.
All right, and then
wait, one more. One more awesome fact. One of the Cubs pitchers threw a no-hitter the other day.
Yes.
He was a walk-on at college, and he was drafted in the first round. I forget what pick he was for the Cubs, but that was the big story, I think, this week was he was undrafted. He was like, I could pitch, and so he tried out in college, and he got a spot, and ended up being first-round pick, and he just did his first no-hitter.
What was his name?
Alex Mills.
Okay.
Also, did you see NBA announce their MVP? Did you see this?
Yeah, it was Giannis.
Yes. Did you see the hissy fit that a certain basketball player threw for not winning? What a role model for your children, right? You're mad and throwing a hissy fit, and you're putting it on social media, and
He's
then
going to come back next year with a vengeance.
oh my
But
God,
yeah,
get
he
over
is
yourself.
playing in the. He is going to be playing in the NBA Finals in a week or two.
But still, you don't.
Because Denver
but
doesn't have a chance.
You don't. That's something you do 10 years after you retire. You go, in 2020 when they named so and so the MVP, I should have been the MVP. That's when you bring that up. You don't throw a hissy fit and look like a moron during the season.
I don't know. You just said Denver doesn't have a chance, but they just lost by a buzzer beater. I mean, they were winning, but they just lost today by a buzzer beater. So
That is true. We can hope.
The Bulls with Jordan lost games in the playoffs, but the other teams never had a chance.
Yeah.
Except for the
Well-
Pacers. Pacers got screwed.
Pacers did get screwed.
Let's move on to
We could do a whole podcast on that.
Right. Foosball's the devil. Let's talk about it.
Injuries.
Injuries upon injuries upon injuries.
If the whole NFL is on an IR. So San Francisco alone, they lost Kittle, right? Kittle's not playing.
Kittle,
Kittle didn't
Garoppolo.
play today.
Garoppolo and Bosa, all three.
They lost someone else. I can't remember who it is.
Mostert, their running back.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Mostert. That's why he wasn't getting me any more points in fantasy.
Christian
That's why
McCaffrey
he wasn't giving me any more points either.
Christian McCaffrey had an ankle injury today. Drew Lock
Paris Campbell
hurt his shoulder. Paris Campbell got hurt. There goes my fantasy football wide receiver. And Saquon Barkley.
Saquon
might have torn his ACL.
No, Achilles. I thought
It's Achilles.
Yeah.
This says knees, but I thought your Achilles was in the back. So
I thought they said Achilles. I don't know. Unless I was thinking Marlon Mack.
That was before the game started tonight. But Marlon Mack is out. He's out with an Achilles injury.
And
more
funny news, the Atlanta Falcons blew another 20-point lead.
How did they do that? They got to quit just laying over. I mean, that's exactly what they do. They quit playing. You can't.
Mikey.
Oh my God,
Mikey.
Satan.
Satan's back. Satan's returned.
I can't stop laughing.
Is it better?
The power of Christ compels you.
We exercised.
The power of Christ compels you. Yes, Atlanta. You cannot sit on a lead in the NFL, and you're going to lose every single time. And Coach Dungy used to do that back in his Buccaneer days. He'd sit on a lead, and it'll bite you in the ass in the long run. But they lost by they had a 20-point lead and blew it, right?
Yeah, they haven't done that since the Super Bowl.
Since the Super Bowl. You thought, you would think you would learn after losing the biggest game of.
At least what?
They're consistent.
Oh yeah, true. And now we got to deal with the Cowboys fans.
I freaking hate the Cowboys fans.
No offense to Tim, he's not a bad one. But.
They're all the same, dude. All of them.
Oh man, annoying. I wish Tim was here.
God. Yeah, you had Bears won. They're 2-0. Can you believe that? Of course, they played the Giants.
I think Mitch Trubisky got over, got through the sophomore hump.
Can we talk about how horrible the Lions are again this year?
I mean, are any of us surprised?
42-21. I feel so bad for Matt Stafford. I think he's a good quarterback.
Seahawks just finished. They just finished up. They won 35-30.
Right.
And freaking Russell Wilson got me 48 points.
Chiefs beat the Chargers in overtime. That was a good game.
You know what? Jacksonville's actually going to be pretty good this year, I think.
They got beat today.
Yeah, but they only lost by 3.
True.
The Colts looked really good today.
Dude, that was a mess of a game.
It was a good game, though. Our defense was really good,
it's not. They were playing.
Or a primetime.
They were playing the Vikings. That's why they look so good.
Vikings are a pretty good team.
No, they're not a pretty good team. They're 0-2. They got smoked last week.
They
by
got a
the,
good
by the
team, but that
Packers.
doesn't mean. Well, the Packers are probably going to be in the. Packers are going to be at least in the NFC Championship this year again.
Jets are back again. Rams won big. There's a team to watch is the Rams. They're back in their Super Bowl season form. Broncos got beat again by the Steelers. Steelers looking good till old Ben. If Ben can stay healthy, then the football team got killed by the Cardinals. I guess.
Can't believe
Kyler Murray had a big
lost
game.
all those starters and stars, and still won 31-13.
Who'd they play?
They played the Jets. Remember,
No, they played who?
the 49ers
Oh,
played
the
the
49ers.
Jets.
Yes. Yeah.
And, the NFL is going to investigate the Meadowlands because of how bad their field was.
Okay. Now this is these football play up until this year actually, with the Raiders building the Death Star in Las Vegas, teams played on baseball fields like all the time. Atlanta, Oakland, the Rams, who else? Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Cincinnati. Those were all converted between a football field and a baseball field. Cincinnati, and so now, and plus, like the Hoosier, even the Hoosier Dome, and the Astrodome, that was just a piece of carpet over concrete. Now we're investigating. Don't they play on grass there, or is it turf?
It's mostly all turf now.
Do they play? Does the Meadowlands have a turf field, or do they have a grass field?
I don't know.
It's just silly. I mean, are we coming down? We're going to check the grass at a football stadium too. I mean, come on.
Even baseball stadiums or baseball fields aren't that bad. They shouldn't be, messing people's ankles up like it was.
They're not messing up people's ankles. God, grow a set. Jack Youngblood played with a broken leg, and I use this all the time, this analogy all the time. Play with a broken leg. I saw a thing on Twitter today. Steve Bartkowski had broken ribs, suited up, played, won. Atlanta was, come on. What is wrong with these people? Bunch of prima donnas, I swear. And I'll go out there and play now, and I'm out of shape.
All right. I'm going to go. All right. I'm going to break your leg, and then you go try to play some football.
I will.
I got a baseball bat outside.
Because Jack Youngblood did. I'm just saying these guys are, and look at all these injuries, and they're all the same. These guys are in the best shape ever. So how are they getting injured when they're in the best shape? And this is across the league. This just ain't in one stadium. Is it due to? They don't hit in practice anymore. You know what I mean? Preseason, when they had a preseason, they had a preseason this year, but they don't want them playing in preseason because they don't want them to get hurt. Is this making the people less tough once the season comes around?
There's actually stats showing that there's less injuries than there were. Like when they implemented the no hitting thing, everyone was like, "Oh, there's going to be more injuries." There's actually been less injuries because you're not getting the repetitive hits on your body. It's not repeating the same motion or injuring the same injury over and over. All right, but let's go ahead and wrap it up. We're pushing our how long this episode is. Now we're gonna start a new segment. You ready, Mikey?
I'm ready.
All right, shower thoughts with Mikey.
All right, I consider myself a deep thinker. So I'll leave you with the question this week to think about. So think about this, all of you listeners. Are minutes and seconds an accurate representation of measurement for time? Leave you with that. Put your mind in a pretzel.
All right.
Dip it in cheese.
You can respond to that and you can check us out at Twitter at PodNerds, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and TuneIn. Is that everything?
I think that's everything.
All right. And you'll never wonder whose your nerds are. That one's for you, Tim.